You're watching On Demand. Please check the closing time before trying to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Today on your Loose Women Live, it's Ruth Langsford, Brenda Edwards, Colleen Nolan, and Janet Street Porter.
Thank you very much. Hello, welcome to Tuesday's Loose Women. Thank you for being here, our lovely studio audience, and nice to have your company at home. And we are live with you now, right through until 1:30, and we've got a very busy show to get through. So here's what's coming up. He is an award-winning film director, but Richard Curtis has recently expressed his regret over the use of fat jokes in some of his films. So we're asking, are they hurtful or harmless? Debating that one. Also, she's swapping the This Morning sofa for the Loose Women studio today. Rochelle Humes will be our guest. She's going to be talking about the pressures of modern parenting and why she never shies away from talking to her children about mental health. And should we all be more like Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Men? We're going to be discussing the concept of earthing yourself and if being at one with nature is the key to happiness. And yes, we are all old enough to remember Bill and Ben. So, for one of us on the panel, yesterday was not an ordinary Monday. It was a very, very special day. So, Colleen and the Nolans received a blue plaque.
We did.
Yeah, so
Honestly, there we are.
There you
I don't know why
are.
I've got AA over my head, but anyway.
I didn't notice.
I did,
Yeah.
yeah. They got a blue plaque and I got an AA sign. No, it was a really, really, really special day, and I was so proud of it, and for my sisters and my whole family, my brothers. It was very humbling. And it was from, it was at the hotel where in 1973 or 8, I can't remember, I was 8, I know that. And it's where we worked on Christmas Day, and the whole family sang. And we were really upset with my dad because it was Christmas Day and we never worked Christmas Day. And he booked us into that hotel Christmas Day, and it's actually where we were then discovered and brought to London. So it was.
So who was in the audience that saw you and went?
It was a gentleman called Joe Lewis, who worked for London Management, I think, at the time, and he brought us to London, and then he got the producers of the Cliff Richard series to come in and see us, and then we got our first TV series from that, and yeah, so it all worked out well in the end. Anyway, my son Jake has been working for this blue plaque for about 18 months to 2 years. He's gone through every meeting with council people, and it costs a lot. I didn't realise, but it's done through donations, and all
I
our...
just assumed that local councils
gave... No, they
paid
don't.
for
You have
blue
to...
plaques.
I did as well, and then I found out that all our nieces and our kids and our nieces and nephews all clubbed together and paid for the whole thing. So it was really, really an emotional day, and, you know, as well to have Linda there, and she looked great as well, and it was just a really nice day for everyone, and they'd done the room up and printed out about 300 photos of us, my kids, from when we were little and when we were performing on stage, oh my goodness. Yeah, all through our career, and the kids had done all that, and Maddie, my daughter-in-law, had made all these amazing cakes, and they'd just done a really good job, and it was such a lovely day.
Hotel. So when you walked in, did it take you back to then being 8 and
Well,
performing?
we had photos actually taken on the stage there yesterday, and it's exactly the same stage. And we got on there, and I was like, how did 10 of us fit on this stage? Because it was my whole family at the time, in the dressing room, literally had a sink and a chair in it, and 10 of us used to...
Did you? Oh.
Yeah, it was like a...
But you said you were cross with your dad, but if he hadn't taken that booking, that man would never have seen you, and
No, and the funny thing
is...
is...
in Japan, would
it
you?
wouldn't have been massive in Japan.
Wouldn't be massive in Japan,
No, it's all thanks to Mr.
Colleen.
Nolan, yes.
I'm so pleased for you.
Thank you.
But years and years ago, I realised I'd never get a blue plaque. So it's so difficult. And you've got, I mean, I know people put up fake ones, so you know what I did? I made one and put it on the wall of my house. I was building my house in Clerkenwell, And I thought, do you know what? This house is really special to me and I don't know how long I'm going to live in it. So we made a triangular plaque and it's got my name, JSP lived here, on it.
Oh.
You can still see it from the street.
Like Janet Street Porter moaned here.
Trust you to bring it
Janet.
down.
Listen, Colin and the Nolans.
A real blue plaque.
A real blue plaque. And
Yeah.
well done, Jake, for getting that sorted out.
Yeah.
OK, question for you. Have you got it on yet? Don't be filthy. I'm in the central heating. Central heating. You know what I meant. I know where your mind was going, yeah. Yeah, so temperature outside dropping. Anger levels seem to rise inside households at this time of year. 35% of people say they clash when it comes to turning the heating on. Thermostat wars, we call it in our house. So do you have thermostat wars?
Well, we don't, because I've got this new app thing on my phone. And Kira texted me last week while I was here and said, Mum, it's really freezing. Can you turn the heating on? And I turned the heating on from my dressing room. It was genius. And I love a gadget. Honestly, I'm a gadget girl. So it was good, but equally, then I can go zip and turn it off again if I want. You know, I'm in control, Ruth, for the first time in my life. I'm in control
liked
of the
that
heating.
feeling?
I did like that feeling.
I mean, I hate to kind of generalise, Janet, or be sexist in any way, but it does seem amongst my friends and the loose women and lots of our audience we talk to, it generally seems that it's men who don't want to turn the heating on.
That's
and
correct.
Women. Would you concur? Either the gentlemen in the audience are nodding. So I don't know whether... Do women just feel the cold more than men? But it's...
Well, I don't know about that, but I do know that in my house, getting the heating on is quite difficult because I come to London 2 days a week and then when I go back to the house, upstairs is freezing. I go, have you had the heating on? No. Well, why would I need it on? And then he watches television without the heating on, just with an old fire, like one of those Art Deco fires he probably had in his first student flat, with the dog and him up against the fire, and the heating is not on. So, like Colleen, I have now got the app.
Oh.
Control. Absolute control.
From afar. Control from
But I'll
afar.
tell you the other thing about putting the heating off, on, off, on. You get air locks. Now I'm beginning to sound like I know what I'm talking about. But I spent half an hour yesterday in the praying position by the radiator when you're on all fours and you've unlocked the air vent and it's making that hissing noise, that hissing noise, that hissing noise. Then it stops. Then you have to go back to the switch that puts more water in the system.
Oh, no, I wouldn't be confident.
Oh, no, you've got
I'll
to
be
do
calling
that.
an
You've got
engineer.
to top it up. And I top it up. Oh, my goodness, I wasted an hour yesterday. I've still got
Just
to rate...
nearly wasted an hour here.
I'm just trying to say to people, you don't have to always call the plumber. There's some simple tasks.
Oh, God.
Janet likes to
Miss
get it done.
Black.
Well, I've not turned my radiators on in 5 years and I'm not turning them on. Yeah, that's me.
5 years?
You know what the best regulator for heat is? Clothing. Put on your clothes, take them off, layers. I know about layers.
So you've got heating in the
I've got
house?
radiators, they just
But
don't
you
put
never
them on.
use
I
them.
pay the bills and I'm not paying... What it is, one time, when we were in lockdown, so I do night work, well, not lockdown, but when I'm working, nighttime work. Tanisha, she's
means
home
in the
during the day.
theatre, just-
Yeah, I'm in the theatre. Tanisha's during the day, Jamal's in the afternoon. So that would mean your heating is on 24 hours. I'm not having that. So I switch it off. It's a standard switch off. There is none. We've got hot water. That's all you need. What else do you need? If you need something else, put on your clothes. Put on your jumper, your
Oh, my
cardigan,
goodness,
your
you
dressing
keep
gown.
it-
I don't care.
You
I
keep
paid for it.
inviting me
I don't care.
round.
I don't care. You came round to my house and you were very happy. And then if there was...
was the
or I
summer.
buy a fan heater. I buy a fan, which in the summer, it cools me, and then in the winter, pop, and it gives you a little bit of heat. That's as much as you're getting.
She invited me round to
I
a
know,
new
I'm not
house
going.
earlier.
I'm going to be a
Get on
spring
my
summer
thermals.
visitor only. I'm just telling you now. Just telling you now. OK, we're going to take a quick break. After that, we're going to be talking to-do lists. Which one of us would rather take a tea break, or 10, actually, than finish the task in hand? Who could that be? And should jokes referring to women's weight and body shape be banned from films? We're going to be debating that as well. So don't go anywhere. See you in a couple of minutes. very much. Welcome back to Loose Women. Now, still to come, Rochelle Humes is our guest today. She's going to be joining us in a bit. Lots to talk to her about, including how she managed her childhood stammer. And do you feel pressure to enjoy cooking? Find out which one of us would literally rather shovel horse poo than spend hours in the kitchen. I mean, literally. Literally would. First, though, filmmaker Richard Curtis has expressed regret over his depiction of women and jokes about their body size in some of his films, in particular Love Actually and Bridget Jones' Diary. Now, he said that he now feels bad about some of the lines in his films, and he's promised to never use the words fat or chubby again. And this was actually done because his daughter interviewed him at a literary festival, and she kind of took him to task a little bit and said, you know, you've used those words in, you know, they called her the chubby one, didn't they, in Love Actually, and talk about Bridget Jones' thighs and things. And he said it made him think that now, if he was doing something now, that he wouldn't, and he felt kind of almost the need to apologise. So do you think it's something...
Get a life, Richard Curtis. I mean, Bridget Jones was one of those films we just laughed and laughed. It was a big part of our lives. Women saw someone they could relate to.
Big pants.
Big pants. Yeah. I mean, we've all got the big pants, and we're not even ashamed of it. Fat pants.
Yeah.
There, I've said the word. I actually said the fat word on this show quite recently.
You said it twice.
Are you getting lessons from Khalid? That's nice. When I did say it a few weeks ago, there was a sharp intake of breath because the word has been so demonised. And I had to say, I'm talking about myself, actually. I think we are allowed to say that our own, you know, we might be fat. Yeah. But we have disguised fat as large. What's the other words we say? Plus size. It's like we talk all around it. But the fact of the matter is the obesity figures for this country show that we are a nation of fatties. And I've even got a fat dog.
Got a fat dog.
And I said, my dog, look, that's not a thin dog, is it?
Oh, Badger.
Badger. It's a lovely dog. But my partner, who I blurred out, looks like a criminal there, he just keeps giving that dog treats, and the dog will have come back and time again. So, yeah, I've got a fat dog and I'm not ashamed of it.
But do you think the word, Colleen, I mean, some people are now saying, like, it should be banned, whether it's in...
I'm just sick of the word banned.
Yeah.
Stop banning everything, you know. If somebody's... Obviously, there's things now that I think back when I was younger and I think, I can't believe we got away with that. Can't believe we got away with saying that or even thinking that. And I appreciate that times have moved on for the good, mainly. But this word banning, stop banning everything, you know. And if I want to call myself, you know, I'm not going to go up to anybody because you would be a horrible person to go, wow, you're fat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just wouldn't do that if you're a nice person. But if I want to say I'm fat, which I do constantly say, and also the trolls constantly say, then that's up to me. And what I just think we're literally losing our sense of humour.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are losing our sense of humour. We can't laugh at anything anymore.
I was reading, actually, Penny Moody, who writes the column in The Sun, Brenda, and she's writing about this, and towards the end she said, if we can't laugh at our tree trunk thighs, Bridget Jones, or bemoan a belly roll, then we're just robots, skinny, miserable robots. You know, it's like, surely you should be able to say about yourself, like, we even say we've got our Bridget Jones pants on today, don't we? We've called
Every
them
day.
Bridget.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree with what everybody's saying, and especially what Colleen's saying. It's okay to use that word if you are talking about yourself, but you can't use it about somebody else. And in my opinion, there are much more harsher words that have been used in general society and still get used. This one is just it's talking about a fact. Most of the time, it's just the fact, and you know you've got meat that has fat on it. It's like, what context are we using this in? Just make yourself a bit leaner, maybe, if you don't like to be called it, or whatever. But I do think that everybody's got a bit too oversensitive
About everything.
I suppose it's good that Richard Curtis is mindful now. So his daughter, you know, it's a different generation, and her generation is saying, you know, Dad, it's not cool now. So he's saying he's mindful of it. So he's listened to her.
But she was cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Bridget Jones was cool because we could relate to her. And I think young
Everyone
girls even
felt
now could
liberated.
relate to Bridget Jones,
Yeah.
because we still all have those insecurities.
Maybe it was just different times then when we were watching Bridget Jones, because we all laughed at that when she talked about, you know, I mean, her whole
Because
thing
I
was
thought, oh my
how
God,
many
that's me.
calories,
Yeah.
you know, how many cigarettes she'd
Yeah.
had. She was always trying to give up smoking.
On a
always
diet
started-
while eating a bar of chocolate. I mean,
Exactly.
she was me.
You
I am
recognised-
Bridget
you
Jones.
recognised her.
I think it was based on me.
I miss that humour so much, because then you go to see a film like Barbie and it's so sanitised. It's so, I mean, it's so bland. I mean, it doesn't have any edge to it whatsoever.
Yeah, OK. Well, let us know what you think about that, because we love to hear from you. We're going to take a break. No, we're not. We're going for a competition. Beg your pardon. I'm thinking of my big Bridget Jones pants. Competition time. Now, this is the biggest one we've done in 2 years. The lines are closing, by the way, on Friday, this Friday at 4 o'clock. So please do hurry to enter, and you might be a millionaire.
It's the big one. There won't be a bigger prize this year. £1 million. Everyone always asks, do real people win these competitions? Well, take a look at this.
I won the ITV competition for Universal Studios and £36,000. I couldn't believe it. When I got the phone call, I didn't even think normal people won these competitions, but it was absolutely true.
It has been an absolute marvellous, wonderful experience.
Normal people do win it.
Yeah, they do. And we're those normal people.
Yeah.
So enter now.
For another chance to win £1 million, text cash to 82248. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website. Entries cost £2. Call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to CD38 PO Box 7558 Derby DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on Friday, 20th of October. Good luck.
Yes, good luck with that. Now, according to a recent survey, 87% of us regularly start a task but then don't finish it. We get distracted, on average, about 4 times a day. And I was thinking, who does that remind me of? Who could that be on this panel?
Listen, Ruth, I always get the task done in the end. But a task that should take maybe 2 or 3 hours can take me 7. But it's because...
Weeks.
I keep... No, I don't, but I keep stopping to have a cup of tea. So when me and Kira loves a good clean out the kitchen or the bathrooms or whatever, and she'll go, right, we're doing this today, and I go, great, we'll do that. And I literally get the dustpan and brush or something out the drawer, and I go, is it time for a tea break? And she goes, we've just started. So after everything I do, I have a tea break. It takes me ages, but I get the job done. Why not?
But she must get really frustrated because she's an on-it girl.
Yeah,
too, isn't she?
yeah. She tells me off all the time, but it's fine. She's all right when I put the tea in front of her.
No, see, I couldn't be doing with that. If I've set myself a task, it's like a mission. I'm
Of
like,
course it is, it's
focused.
you.
It's me.
Yeah.
I'm focused. I've got my labelling machine ready. Colin, I've got my
You've got a highlighter.
I might have plastic folders. It's all ready.
Oh, have you
I
got a
get
clipboard?
up. I'm like, hair up.
Yeah.
Scrags on. I'm like, go.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone helping me because unless you can go at my pace, don't even get involved.
Yeah.
And I'm on it.
Do you want me to come round and make the tea?
No. Because every 2 minutes you'd be interrupting me with a cup of tea and I'd feel the need to sit and drink it and chat to you. It's
No,
like,
you
I
don't
haven't got
have to
time.
chat to me.
No, and if you're helping me, we'll only have like 1 coffee break and then maybe lunch.
I don't want to
if you're
help
lucky.
her. I
No,
definitely don't
can't
want to
ever
help her. Yesterday, I tidied out my knicker drawer. It was dead simple. I just opened the drawer and chucked out all the small ones. Job done. Absolutely job done. You know, you have that dream and you look at all the stuff you've kept, and I might get into it one day and chuck it out. No, I don't want any help. So I just write a task list, and it's very, very short, so I will achieve it.
Oh, good point.
Never have more than 3. And then if I'm instructing someone else, i.e. a man,
Instructing.
in a
Not
task...
asking for help, just instructing them.
Yeah. I break it down into 3 things. Like, I was lying in bed the other day and the curtain pole fell off the wall. I thought it was Colleen cursing me from Blackpool. Honestly, I thought the house had been hit by a bolt of lightning. Ka-chung! Down it fell. Big chunk of plaster fell out. So I broke the task down into buy new curtain pole, obviously me, measure for curtain pole, buy curtain pole, buy fabric curtain, me, and then the person that's going to put it up, I'm going to break it down into mend wool first.
Yeah.
Have you got the drill with you? You know, just like a film script or something. All
Sounds
the way
like a right laugh at hers, doesn't it?
If you want it done, you've got to break it
You're
down.
on it.
I'm on it, yeah. I find it very satisfying to start and finish a task within a certain period of time. And I know what you mean about, you know, sometimes there's a bit of a race, but I will, if it's, for example, if I'm
You're
tidying
queen of the drill,
house,
aren't you?
Well, I am queen with a drill. I've got a whole bag full of drills and bits. I love that.
Does her own DIY.
But I'll start at that corner and I will work my way around and then work my way around to get right back to there, and I've got to finish that within
Like
a
in
certain
one
amount of
room, so you go,
yeah.
sort that,
exactly.
move that,
sort
clean
that, sort that, put that and put it, you know, because obviously, like I was saying, I've moved house, so I move only what I know will fit somewhere. If it doesn't, then it's gone. I don't want it cluttering up, so, yeah.
And do you go to the tip?
Yes, regularly.
love a tip.
Yeah, I love a tip.
Never take anyone with you.
No,
Because
there's no space.
No, just take...
The bag's there.
I love a tip.
I love a tip.
I love a
skip.
tip, love a drill, love a skip.
That should be my motto on a gravestone.
Love a skip, just don't put your stuff in my skip,
She
remember?
loved a skip. Here lies Ruth Langsford. Loved to tip, loved to skip. Got it. You know, when people always ask you what you want
I'm
on it,
writing
I
that
now
down.
know.
Here lies.
Yeah.
Here lies Ruth Langsford.
Okay,
loves to
got ya.
tip.
Loves to tip, loves
But
to
the
skip.
worst thing is go to the tip with someone, go to the tip with your partner, you're putting everything in all the appropriate containers, you go back to the car and you think, what's that sink doing in the car? What are those picture frames? They can't.
They're getting the stuff back.
Going
Don't
back,
do that. OK, we've got to take another break now. After that, she is usually on our screens about 10 o'clock, so she's had a bit of a lie-in this morning. She swapped the This Morning sofa for the Loose Women's Studio. We're delighted to see her. Hi, Rochelle. Rochelle Humes will be joining us for a chat right after this. See you in a couple of minutes.
Tomorrow, football icon and queen of the jungle, Jill Scott, joins Team Loose Women. She'll be telling us what brings out her inner lioness, the sacrifices she made for sport, and she reveals her wedding goals. That's guest panellist Jill Scott, tomorrow from 12:30.
Tuesday's Loose Women, and keeping you company this lunchtime, it is Colleen Nolan, Janet Street Porter, Brenda Edwards and me, Ruth Langsford. Coming up, would you take life lessons from your younger self? Now, we're going to be quizzing Janet on some of the things she said 15 years ago.
Oh, that's cool.
15 years ago, Janet, in this book. And I've been looking, I'm going to find out if she still stands by them today. That will be very interesting. Also, would you dare to bare your feet? That is, we're debating if connecting to the Earth's surface by walking around without shoes and socks on could make us happier and healthier. Yeah. At first, though, according to a survey, we spend just 60 minutes a day cooking and preparing food, including snacks. And according to the poll, that is 45 minutes less than our parents would have spent preparing meals. So apparently a big factor is lack of time, obviously. Also, people say lack of knowledge, they just don't know how to cook. So have we fallen out of love with cooking is the question we're asking. And you know, all know that I love cooking, and cooking for me is like a de-stress. So some people find it stressful. It's like a hobby for me. I'm not saying I'm a brilliant cook, I just love it. So for me, being in the kitchen, spending time, I love chopping vegetables, I love the whole preparation, sometimes following a recipe. I collect cookery books like they're going out of fashion, always thinking, one day I'm going to cook that, I'm going to cook that. And I've got about my 5 favourite things I cook. So I don't find it pressure, and actually I was like, 60 minutes, that's not long.
That's not long at all, especially if you're Caribbean. You need about an hour for just marinating the food. You've got to marinate that chicken, and it's not marinated in 15 minutes or half an hour. But I think cooking, it's like you put your heart and soul on a plate, and that's why I love cooking, love baking. You know, I start with the recipes like you. I start with it, but then I'll add a bit of all-purpose and a bit of hot pepper sauce. just to see
Bit
what
of
it's...
spice.
Yeah, put my little bit of spice on there. But it's just so much fun doing something different. And when you see a cookbook and it comes out like the picture...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's brilliant.
I almost just look at the, you know, so I can look at the picture because I like cooking. It's very creative, I think. I can look at the picture and go, oh, right. Then I look at the ingredients and go, right, courgettes thing, right, fry the onions. Kind of got that. So I don't really always need them to follow the recipe.
Yeah.
You're still awake, love?
I hate cooking. You know why I hate cooking? Even talking to you two or listening to you two go on with yourselves is wearing me out because you spend hours, don't you? You love it in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Oh, I do this and I do that. It takes me an hour to do that, then an hour to cook. And then it takes somebody 4 minutes to eat it. If I'm going to cook for 4 hours, you're going to spend 4 hours eating it. Because it's a waste of my life.
Again.
No. It's
It's
joy
the
and
most
love.
creative thing.
Oh, honestly, I'd rather muck horses out.
Well, she does. That's what you do.
I do, and that's where I get my, you know...
You mean looking at a load of horse manure is better?
Than cooking. Yeah.
Can't believe
No,
it.
but you said recently you found thinking doing the pulses and the lentils with that lentil bolognese that you bought in
Well,
the
it's
other day.
Kira that's got me into that. Kira's the cook in our house, and we're plant-based now, obviously, so it scares me a bit. And she's going away in January, so she's written out her own actual cookbook for me
And
to
you're gonna follow
when
it.
she's away. So I am going to follow it, otherwise I won't eat.
Well, you could just get someone to cook it all for you.
Oh, I could, Jack.
You could just get someone...
I was that lucky.
But you love
No,
cooking,
just
Jen,
pay
don't
someone.
you?
I adore cooking. I couldn't cook till I was in my early 20s. But then once I'd started and I learnt from a couple of the guys at college and then I just learnt as I went along and I had a few failures and a few... But then we entertained a lot. We used to have loads of people round to dinner parties, which no one does anymore. And I just really like cooking. It's really hard to do during the week when you're working, but it's something that on Friday or Saturday or Sunday, I do like doing it. But I agree, it's tiring, you know, standing on your feet, marinating, chopping stuff up. It does take a lot of time, but the pleasure I get from it is fantastic.
But if you start at the beginning of the week, you batch your onions, all your peppers, and you put it in your container, and then you just thingy it, you know.
That's what she's going to do, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's-
Plan ahead.
Too much like organisation, that, isn't it, Colleen?
Yeah, just have a cup of tea, love.
Tea and a biscuit.
I think it's when I like to crank the music up and I pretend I'm Brenda Edwards. I sing it. That's what I do. Listen, competition time again for you. The lines close, can I remind you, again, this Friday. So for your chance to be a millionaire... Well done, you remembered this time. Here are all the details for you.
It's our biggest competition of the year. That's a huge £1 million. We love making winners. And here's what just a few of them had to say about it.
I've just won £36,000 and a holiday to Universal Studios in Florida, which we just got back from. With my son.
Yeah, we had an absolutely amazing time, didn't we?
We did. We had a lovely time.
It's one of the best experiences we've ever had, so it was a great experience.
Very hot.
Yeah, we loved every second.
I recently won 110 grand on ITB Win. Really good feeling. Going to spend the money on probably holidays, maybe a bit of house renovation. I'm Leanne, I'm a daughter, so hopefully I'll be involved in some.
But who will be our next big winner? For another chance to win £1 million, text cash to 82248. Text cost £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website. Entries cost £2. Call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to CD38 PO Box 7558 Derby DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on Friday, 20th of October. Good luck.
Yes, good luck. Imagine you could be a millionaire. Amazing competition. Now, new research has revealed that despite struggling with their mental health, 65% of young people are not reaching out and asking for help. Now, 33% said that they felt too embarrassed to do that. So this is something our guest today feels very passionate about and wants to change by raising awareness. We're delighted to see her. Please welcome Rochelle Humes.
Thanks
for having me, ladies.
Well, it's always
You look fabulous. I'm
She
sorry,
looks
I have to just
fabulous,
say.
yeah.
I tried it on at home and my daughter was like, where are the arms? I actually don't know.
That is very gorgeous.
No Bridget Jones pants in yours?
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
I think a lot of us like a big pant.
Yeah.
The smoothing one, I just like them right up here.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel a bit, especially now it's a bit chilly, girls.
Yeah.
Listen, so much to talk to you about, but I do want to talk to you about this mental health charity. So this is Marks and Spencer and the Young Minds mental health charity for young people.
Yes.
And so you're working with them to raise awareness, because these statistics are very worrying when they say, you know, 65% of children say that they are struggling with their mental health, and yet they're not telling people.
And that's what's so... We're doing so much better at talking about mental health, but I think when you look at young people who are our future, you know, it was really stark when I went to Young Minds and I met everybody, and they're like angels. They're all so lovely. But it's 5 children in every classroom in the UK will be suffering with mental health and perhaps not talking about it or not supported. And not only that, it's the adults, it's the parents, it's the carers too. And I think that's what they do so brilliantly. There's an adults helpline. So you could call and say, I'm actually really quite worried about my son. And they could sort of give you the right path to get on. And also what I love is that, you know, kids, phones, tablets, that's kind of the way of communication. They've sort of really changed the way that they're sort of accessible to young people.
But
So
actually,
they could do it on an
you
app,
could send them a DM on Instagram.
Which
or
they
you
would
could-
find easier.
Exactly
My
that.
daughter, she's 22, but she hates, like, picking up... She hates being on the phone to a stranger, especially. So that would be
But
brilliant.
it's interesting that the technology, which you said, you know, the charity can help maybe send them an app or a text, but also often it's having that technology which is sometimes causing their mental health anxiety, being on
Absolutely
social media or being left out of friendship groups.
The comparisons and I think it's so... It really is a new world. And, you know, I got asked earlier, how was your mental health when you were young? I actually don't remember being aware of mental health. It wasn't a conversation, was it?
Nobody said those words.
You were either sad, you were a bit nervous, you had butterfly... You know, it wasn't really... We didn't use those terms. And I actually don't use the words mental health with my children. I sort of check in and support them, and I'd like them to be able to come to me whether they have a funny tummy or whether they've got a cold, or also whether they're not feeling OK in themselves. I think it's just, you're not given a handbook, are you? And I think that's where these charities are so useful, that they're sort of helping us with the right tools.
So does the money provide for more people when young people message the charity? What's the money going to go
So
for?
essentially what they want to do is raise £5 million, which sounds obviously like a lot of money, but they can do that at till point and via the app. But that will essentially help 7 million young people and adults in their life. And I think if there's any takeaway, even, you know, donations aside, I think I'm like an auntie to all of my friends' children. I've always been... That's like, in our community, it's like your auntie is like a term of respect. But you know, if you pick up the phone today to the young person in your life, just to check in, like, how are you post-exams, or how are you... And that's where they really see those peaks, as you can imagine, those spikes.
And you mentioned school there, and saying you didn't really talk about mental health. I didn't know this about you. I don't know if you've spoken about it before, that you had a stammer when you were young that you struggled with.
Yeah, I did, and that's actually, which is so ironic, because now I talk for a living. You couldn't write it, could you? That's actually why my mum sent me to, like, dance and drama of a weekend, because I was just behind her leg, and I had a stammer, and I was really quite young, and it probably went when I was in about year 1 of school, reception year 1. But yeah, now you can't shut me up.
How did dance and drama, how did that help with your...
I think, but that was actually, my mum got advice to that, I think, by the GP at the time. I saw, like, a speech therapist and stuff for quite a while, but I think it was a confidence thing, really, and just to sort of really find my own feet and not... Yeah, I think it must have been a confidence thing, but it definitely helped. And I don't notice it as much now, of course. You know, I talk for a living, as I said, but if I'm nervous, I will fall over myself a little bit, and I'll remember to slow down.
I was married to a man that had a terrible stammer, but when we started living together, he had to fight back in the conversation. So it pretty quickly went. But the stammer, every time we went to dinner with his mum, it came back. And it's really interesting, because I think that his stammer was definitely a product of, you know, his...
The environment, and then you have those triggers, I suppose.
Talking of confidence, you know, saying your mum sent you to kind of drama and dance for confidence, I was so proud of you and so amazed when I watched you on your Instagram walking a catwalk in Paris, looking unbelievable.
Thank you.
But you always look unbelievable. You're a beautiful woman and you're so stylish. It wasn't even that. It was the walking, Rochelle. I was like, how are you feeling walking the catwalk?
It's so out of body, to be honest with you. But it's the same sort of setup as here, so that you have those little steps that you had to get to before the catwalk.
No.
And what you didn't see, and now I'll say this, I've not actually said this yet, there's actually a hole at the back of the dress. It's because I walked up the steps, and you know when you've got the heel on, it like caught in the... And I thought, oh my, I can't mess this up. It was live, everyone had to walk at a certain point because of the music. So I just yanked it and thought, just go, girl. And I was... and that was sort of it. So it was, do you know, it was brilliant. I loved it, but it was, you know, after that I was shortly home and back to the school run. It was very out of body.
Well,
but
that's
yeah.
what we love about you, because you and Marvin, you're so glamorous and beautiful, the two of you, but then we see you at home cooking with the kids and things. So listen, that's the M&S and Young Minds mental health charity who have teamed up. We wish you well with the campaign and lovely to see you. Rochelle Hughes, everybody. We're going to take a break. After that, should we all be more like Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Men? Rochelle's far too young to remember. We're going to be discussing the concept of earthing yourself and if it could be the key to living happier and healthier lives. And we'll be taking a trip down memory lane, quizzing Janet on a few things that she said back in the day. But does she still stand by them? See you after this. To Loose Women. Now, it's nearly 15 years since a very important piece of literature was released. I'm not talking about The Hunger Games or the last book in the Twilight Saga. I'm talking about this. I've got to hide some of the rude words. Janet Street Porter, Don't Let the Bees Get You Down. OK? This is Janet's guide on how to do things your own way, using her very own personal mantras. OK, so 15 years ago. Great picture of you, by the way.
Thank you.
So I thought it might be a bit of fun to have a look through some of this, OK, and see if you still stand.
15 years ago.
15 years, OK, do you still stand?
Yeah.
So can I ask you now, kind of just briefly, how you feel about house guests now?
How I feel about house guests now? Yeah. Obviously, if they stay more than 2 days, it's a problem. And in the house I'm in now, I have got a room that looks like a spare bedroom, which I said in that book, do not have any room that looks like it's got a surface they can sleep on. So how I've solved the problem, because I have a spare bedroom, I alternate. I sleep in both bedrooms. I go from one to the other.
What she said on House Guest, it may sound ruthless, who knew, but I've eliminated anything that could be construed as a guest room from my house in London. So the same. As I work from home, I don't want to wake up and have breakfast with a friend. It will just slow my day down. I'd have to be interested in their plans for the day.
Changed.
No, that's why I love it. I don't even have a sofa that looks like you can sleep on it. Instead, listen to this. Instead, I negotiated a cheap rate at a local hotel where friends. I do let friends house sit when I'm away, though.
Oh, that's nice here.
Good for security, and then they get a cheap holiday in London, and so it goes on. But basically, no change there.
No change.
So let me go to. Where's the other one I liked? Was it this one? Oh, yes. I've learned to say no. I'm not... Oh, no, staying in, the new going out.
All right.
You'd put here. Staying in is the new going out. You know why? The recession has meant we've had to refocus things, get our social ambitions scaled down. Our friends are in the same position, so what better time for a reappraisal? To achieve my goal of spending time at home, I had to embrace one difficult new idea. Oh, and it goes on. We've been brainwashed women to stay at home. Da-di-da-di-da. I can't read it all because it's so long. Do you still stand by that? Like, are you a stay at home, or do you say go out now? Because
go out. Why be in when you can be out? Especially after COVID. Yeah. So last week I went out Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then this week I'm going out tonight. I'm going out tomorrow night. Yeah, I'm the same.
So do you have what the young people call FOMO, fear of missing out, if you don't go to things?
Yes.
I've got that. I've got, what's mine? FOGO.
Fear
of going out.
Fear of going out. You're like a stay at home.
Oh, I can't bear going
I
out.
do spend so much time getting ready and making sure I look fantastic that I'm always late. That's my biggest worry
You
about...
better start now then for next Friday.
Wow.
She's on fire today.
No. Sorry.
Blue plaque. There's no stopping
Go
her.
on, Em.
Yeah, I wrote that
one last
book
thing.
25 years
I've got
ago.
a question for you. How do you feel about people getting their feet out? Do you like feet?
No.
No, me never. Apparently, it's probably good for you because there's a therapeutic technique called grounding or earthing, which is when people put their feet on the ground, bare feet. So this is so you can connect to Mother Earth, connect to nature, kind of balance yourself. It's apparently supposed to be very good for your health, reduces inflammation, reduces stress. So are you, Brenda, a kind of earthing person, barefooted earthing person?
Well, you see, if we were in the lovely, beautiful, picturesque homeland of my family, St Vincent, yeah, take off those socks, take off the shoes, walk on that sun-kissed beach. Absolutely. You talked about stress. I get stressed quite a bit when I walk out on the streets of England sometimes because you're walking on flob, you're walking on poo, you're walking on glass, you're walking on bits of
Where
paper.
do you live?
I'm talking...
West London.
Thanks. But, you know, I can continuously now walk and look where I'm going. I shouldn't have to do that, but you have to do that because people do just do nasty things on the street.
Can I just say I haven't heard the word flob?
Yeah, but
they're all going, what is flob? You know, but
No, let's not go into
spitting. It's spitting in the street.
By the way, gardeners connect with the earth all the time.
Yeah.
And last Sunday, I was well and truly connecting with the earth because I was planting 100 onions and they came as these tiny plants. I was lying face down on the soil, pushing little holes with my finger, dropping the onions in, then begging them to grow, and then I had to get back up.
That's the hardest way.
Getting back up from connecting with the earth and being grounded. It's like you have to roll over.
Look, stressful.
Can't cope with you. Why do you need 100 onions?
100 onions for all the meals I'm going to cook, and Brenda and I will be sharing
We
over
haven't got
the
any
winter.
friends that stay over. Why do you don't let everyone in.
Yes.
I love it.
We need
well,
to go.
as Janet Street Porter said, don't let the bees get you down.
Yeah,
okay.
get you down.
We do have to go. We have to go, I'm afraid. But tomorrow we have Queen of the Jungle, no less, Jill Scott. She's going to be a panellist on Loose Women, so looking forward to seeing her. Have a lovely afternoon. Bye-bye.